Actually, I'll leave it on that. No, I won't, because that's copyright. I was gonna leave that on for if I started playing Melee later. But what was I watching before? Sorry. What was I watching before? Scott, a little bit of Scott. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I want to watch this one.
Let's pay good money for it, I'm just saying.
I've tried to watch it twice already, but I always get distracted. Anyway.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cold Ones. I'm your host, Anything for Views. Chad is my name.
I'm the host also.
That's
hello.
good.
I'm second host.
That's better.
Max Mofo, hello.
Our sponsors today, as always, cool shirts out of shirts with a Z. Z.cool. Use code Cold Ones, 10% off. Gamersubs, gamersubs.gg/Cold Ones, or use code Cold Ones, 10% off. Limited time only as well for the first 500 people. You guys can claim free samples.
Look at this aspect ratio on this video.
And
it's so interesting how they did that.
As if this comes out, our sponsor Grog.
See, check this out.
If it's out in an area
Like
go to
when you full screen it,
shop and sign up with your email.
see?
If it's not out around you, you'll get notified straight away. We're also
It's
doing
up
lots
in the
of
bottom.
giveaways.
Saying it's our sponsor kind of sounds like we're less
That's so
involved.
interesting.
We own it.
That sounds too much. We're so f***ing great.
It's an aspect ratio kinda like built for
is very good. Grog.shop.
specifically
Our
for
guest
theater
today has
mode,
built a
I
career
think.
as an online entertainer, actor, artist, and voice actor, almost spanning
Anyway.
over 20 years. From creating Flash to Creator Clash, this bloke has done it all while hosting one of the most illustrious gaming comedy groups on YouTube called Game Grumps, spitting, can you not put big intergalactic bars at the supergroup Starbomb, which you're in more bands than just Starbomb, right?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, maybe I'm tripping. And so much more. Please, everyone, welcome Alien One from the Markiplier.
I don't think I can mute myself. Yeah, I'm sorry for spitting
Hi. Yeah.
every time.
Oh, thank you.
Edit that in.
I'll
Thanks
move the
for that.
mic.
I literally read that today, and while I was sitting down waiting for you, I still fucked it up. So
That's okay. You know, I appreciate it. It's way more official than most podcasts I've ever been on. I want to try this, by the way.
would you like grape or peach?
I want grape because it's in front of me.
Okay. All right, cheers to grog.
Cheers.
Grog, to having a grog with the boys.
If I make a face, you can cut it out.
No, we'll just edit it. That's good.
Oh, yeah, that's very good.
Kind of like you're wincing through that. So.
No, because at the beginning it just tasted like a snow cone or something,
You ever had a Hubba Bubba?
and then then the alcohol hits you. What?
Have you ever had a Hubba Bubba?
Yeah.
That's what that one reminds me of.
Yeah, you know, Bubblicious, 6%, eh?
Oh yeah, be careful.
Now I'm gonna get fucked up.
Be careful.
Like, no question.
Would you say you're a good drinker? Because you said you haven't drunk until you're how old?
32.
That is fucked up.
How do you last so long? Because I know you. that is fucked up. That is fucked up. Because you told me yesterday, and I kind of understand. You said you're on medication, so you never did it, right?
No, well, that was recently, actually.
Okay.
And I just couldn't get, like, super drunk on the medication that I was on. I'm not on it anymore. It was ADHD medication. But before that, it was just
Makes
like, I don't
sense.
know. I just felt like I didn't like things where I sort of, like, lost control, you know? I just didn't trust myself.
Yeah.
I felt like if I drank and I really liked it, then it would be really
Responsible.
easy for me to, like, get addicted to it. But once I started drinking, I was like, oh, this is no problem.
Yeah, I think if you wait until that age, you're going to be very like able to do that.
Yeah, I could have very well had a problem if I
That's a
started
smart way
drinking
to
at
do
18.
That's so weird to me. Like, I don't know. Maybe because I come from such a degenerate background, because where like people around.
You loved it.
I love to drink, and I drank at a young age. Not super young, but I drank like pretty
I
early
mean,
on.
We had a
my-
dry wedding.
Probably super young in comparison to what he would think.
Yes,
As an
yeah.
American,
Because the drinking age
even
is
like
16 here, 18 here.
Well, I'm glad because I mean, stuff I'm learning about like brain health and stuff is like if you know I started drinking that young, I'd probably have a lot more.
Don't say that to us.
If that's true, that would be a great case study. Like, I'm telling.
So you grew up in Florida
Yeah,
and New Hampshire, is that correct?
New Hampshire was
For like some part of your
yeah, I was like
early life.
yeah 2 to 3.
How long were you in Florida for then?
I was in Florida till I moved to LA, so I was
Really?
around like 20.
Damn, you left the best part of America to go to the worst.
What?
I love Florida.
No.
Really?
What, do you go to like Miami and hang out and drink?
No, we went to, where was the Jake Paul fight? Tampa?
Tampa?
Yeah.
Tampa's cool.
Yeah, that's
Tampa's
Florida.
got Ebor and shit.
Yeah, well, you just said Florida sucks. I love Florida.
Yeah, that's like the one cool part of Florida.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, we were going to go
Florida's
down,
also
we were going to go,
fucking
we
It's
were
also
gonna,
the fucking perspective of a tourist.
but we were
like,
going to go down the,
You've heard the Florida Man meme, right?
no?
You know, yes, you do.
You know the Florida Man
Have you seen like
meme.
Florida Man?
I've heard of
as a
Florida
thing?
memes, like, of course it
It's,
happens
it's,
in Florida.
yeah, it's,
Ah, okay.
it's
because
basically
that's what
that.
it's like there.
Yeah, it's basically
Florida
there's
memes
so much
is
fucked
not the
up
same
shit.
thing.
We got whiskey.
Oh yeah, let's get that out. How did we start with when you started drinking to Florida? Okay, that's cool. Welcome
It's
to
called
alcohol.
conversation.
It's called alcohol. You said
Give me
you're
some fucking whiskey.
you said you're a whiskey guy.
Yeah, what? You got a fucking wooden box? What?
Well, I mean, I actually don't know what this is.
Yeah,
Neither do I.
But it was
Glengoyne?
it was the
I
most
think- are you
expensive.
25 years?
Yeah.
Are you like?
Yeah, that's
you're
expensive.
a whiskey guy enough to get like. Oh, I can. I know that's good from taste. Like, if you taste something,
I don't know, ish. I don't know.
I just mean like
I
me
would still
personally.
con-
I don't know what the fuck is going on with.
I would still
anything
consider
that I
myself a beginner because I
Humble
mean,
man.
I've only been doing it for a couple of years.
Okay, well, put this away. Where's the cheap shit?
No,
No, I'm just
I
kidding.
like
I'm
his
just kidding.
pillow.
give me the.
drink.
Oh, I got
We
hits
should-
of
we should-
vanilla.
I
we
like
should
Aaron's
mix them up and
pillow.
blindfold him. You will listen what the pros say.
The malt Scotch whiskey, baby. Let's do it. You want some? You good?
Oh, you know what? Let me pour it. You're the guest. You're the guest. Like, I'm not an expert on
whatever.
whiskey, but I can taste the difference between.
I
Like
can't.
I said, I think I was saying before the show.
Yeah.
I grew up on very poor people alcohol. So the second I get my lips around something expensive, I can taste the difference
Well, I mean,
immediately.
there's different reasons to drink, right? Like if you just drink to get drunk, it's like why bother having expensive stuff?
Yeah, unless it's for the title of the video. When? Yeah, we had a bit where we did like one of the most expensive
Whoa!
wines or whatever that we were like, yeah, post this on the wine subreddit.
Because we were
Dude.
drinking like a $1,000 bottle of wine, going, and we couldn't tell the difference. We thought the cheapest
Yeah.
one was the better one. Yeah.
Yeah, and people were not happy.
I mean, yeah, but that's
Killed
why they
my
have fucking
ass.
classes and shit for that. Like, there's literally a job where
If you have to be
can tell them
taught,
apart.
if you have to be taught, you have to be fucking molded at a personal level to be like, please conform. You have to go through school. This
I
is
can't
what
catch
tastes better.
any of them,
I
can
mean, it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
Like advanced palates are like usually they're not eating fucking like
Sure.
They just
Hershey bars
wasted
all
all
day. You know,
my-
like they're.
Mr. Beast bars.
they-
Yeah, this pairs well
think
with
I'm
the
done.
fucking
Alright.
dark chocolate Beast bars.
This is my first step. I think this is my
cheers.
oh
first
yeah,
step.
cheers, cheers.
Block it all, block it all, be
What
invincible.
do they do? They keep it six to the sides and then they.
What is that? I've
That's
never heard of
fucking
that.
wine. You're thinking of wine, Chad.
That's pretty good.
Ooh, that sets your gut on fire.
There's just something like calming about it. I don't know. I like taking a bath and having like a red
Yeah,
wine or something.
yeah, it's like it's like
True.
a bath, like a warmness washing over your whole body.
Yeah.
Well, isn't Saint Bernards used to have whiskey and brandy strapped to their neck, so if they found someone in the snow, buried in the snow, freezing you there,
Right.
that would warm you up.
Well, it has a warming sensation, but it doesn't actually physiologically warm you up.
Maybe if you're dying and freezing to death, it
It
just
actually
feels
learned
like
that from
shrubs.
Family Guy.
restricts your,
Mate.
so it makes you colder.
Oh,
What
shit.
the fuck were those dogs doing?
I mean, that's what I heard of fucking cartoon logic back in like.
So is
You said cartoon.
oh, nice trigger word.
Yeah,
That triggers that triggers our new segment. So you do cartoon?
Not in a while.
We've done our research. Max,
Yeah, you're an animator or something?
Yeah, sure.
you don't do it that much anymore.
No.
Why? Because that was like I don't know, like Max and I said earlier, we knew you from Newgrounds
Right.
when we're talking about research. I was like, oh, I mean, I
I know
don't.
some fucking shit, motherfucker.
You know some shit?
You've been interested in doing animation longer than YouTube, longer than Newgrounds even. I've heard that you were interested through flip books at some point
That's
during
right,
school,
yeah.
and then you did claymation.
Yeah.
With a camera by hitting start and stop
Yep.
constantly.
That is
right.
how claymation is done.
But yes, I did. I did animation. I think you asked me why I don't anymore.
Money,
I mean, kinda.
money and time.
It's time mostly. Money is a kind of a factor, but that's also why I started. And I mean, I think that's sort of like I get criticized a lot for being like, oh, you don't do animation, you don't art anymore. Now you're doing what's easy on YouTube and stuff. And it's like, well, I was doing the animation because they would paid.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing like music and painting and poetry and shit all as a kid, as a teenager. And then once the animation was the thing that like somebody was paying me to do, then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that then. So I did that for a while.
you also started doing it in a time, and still a bit now, but not so much, but where they would pay people stupid amounts for doing such a
Yeah, on
arduous
YouTube.
job.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started on Newgrounds, I wasn't getting paid.
Yeah.
And then I started working for MTV, who paid me a little bit.
For like
and
$300, something.
yes, nice.
What was it after tax?
Fuck up, right? And then later you got Tom Folk paid you to
Yes.
sponsor cartoons
Yes.
at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was viable.
Yeah, that's when I started to be able to make a living off of it.
Right.
Was when Newgrounds started paying me for it.
You guys had monetization.
So they would do a thing where they'd like sponsor your videos, right? So it would still basically just be like you're posting a video on Newgrounds, but they would ask you to put the Newgrounds logo on it.
Yeah. I do remember a lot, and even pre-uploads, they all have the Newgrounds
Yeah.
watermark on it. Yeah, of course.
So and I would do that when I would start uploading stuff on YouTube. I'd put the Newgrounds logo like as a little watermark and stuff, and he would pay me to do that, right?
I like the Napster story. I would like you to tell that.
Are those the
My
old
first
MP3s?
What happens?
Yeah.
Wait, let's see what happens. Oh, nothing. Magic Man saves me. Thanks, Magic Man.
Yeah. Not MP3s, but you could share audio files, right?
Yeah.
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 Right.
So the idea was like peer-to-peer sharing. So you'd have a program on your computer, and then you have like a folder that you would share with people, and then basically your entire folder was like open to be searched for on the Napster platform. So the way that people sort of like got things to spread on Napster was you would do like a makeshift version of like tags. So you would name the MP3 like what it's called, and then you would put in parentheses like comedy,
First time I downloaded.
funny, parody,
don't lose anything,
whatever, you
though.
know, like just as much information as you possibly could. So you get these fucking absurdly long named MP3s. Early on, I was downloading a lot of comedy bits off of Napster that I didn't realize were from like radio shows that existed like for the sole purpose of making bits, right?
I definitely did that same thing. Like
Yeah.
in terms of finding funny songs or funny bits or like anything that I didn't know what the origin of it was, but it was just shared to
Yeah.
me via that method. Or like for me it was LimeWire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but then it was like that's something maybe I'd take to school, or like I would download it on my iPod and I'd show people.
Yeah, it's just like, this is a funny thing, right? It's like, oh, it must have been just some guy who made it. And it's like, no, it was a fucking team of
Sure,
comedians
but that's
that worked for
such
some...
a strange like spread
Yeah.
of information. that
But
is,
it
like,
gave the sense that there were
unparalleled to
people on
now.
the platform who were making like just comedy in their bedroom. So I started doing that with just like a little shitty microphone I had. So I was making like video game parodies and like anime parodies and stuff, and
Yeah.
I would name them like, you know, I called them Ego and Company because I was Ego Raptor back then.
What company, as in the company, or as
I
in
don't know,
friends?
just for some reason I was like,
Just
Ego and
wanted
Company,
people-
that's a
just
cool name.
People
just
want
want
some
friends.
people to think that
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Ego and Co.
It's like, oh, it's true.
Ego and Co's
Yeah,
a
you
great
did
name.
Dragon Ball Z in a nutshell.
Yeah, so yeah,
Did that.
Dragon Ball Z in a nutshell, and then like
That's like one of the earliest like animations and memes I
Which-
can remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also a good part of this story that you didn't animate that.
yes. Well, I made that when I was 13 years old, and I sped it up. It was like a sped up voice or whatever, and then I distributed it on Napster. So I make that MP3, Ego and Company, DBZ in a nutshell, and then I would have parentheses like comedy, parody, funny, whatever. And then after a couple months of having that available on my Napster, I just got curious, and I was like, yo, does anybody else have these? And I searched Ego and Company, and it got like hundreds of results. And I was like, yo, people are fucking downloading my comedy. That's crazy. But anyway, one day I just was an avid Newgrounds before Newgrounds even
this
existed.
This is like what, like 2 years later?
I don't know
You think that
exactly
you
how
made
long.
that?
I'm so terrible with time, but it was definitely like a while after like I stopped making Ego and Company stuff, and I saw Dragon Ball Z in a nutshell was like the top
So
of the
delicious.
Newgrounds portal, and I was like, yo, that's my thing. And I've never been.
Well, someone
even-
just re-uploaded it.
well, they made it.
Well, because it was audio. He
Yeah.
didn't animate it, so his thing was audio.
Oh, so you didn't make the animation? Someone else did.
Yes.
Okay, because I know
Yeah.
I know it from the animation.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It actually got misattributed to Richard Horvitz for a while because it was somebody renamed it like Invader Zim does DBZ or something.
But is it true that like once that happened, you looked with that title and found there was more results?
Yes, that's right. When I looked up Zim does DBZ, I got like way more hits. Yeah.
Were you just like, damn, I
Makes
don't know what the
sense,
fuck I'm
though.
doing?
Well, it's funny because like
It's
I don't know,
ridiculous.
I see a lot of artists now are getting huge about like credit and stuff, and like I think that's totally valid, and everybody should follow however they feel about that. But I just was never that guy. So I was just like happy that people were
What's that
listening to
mean?
my shit. When that cartoon
Never
got
that
made on
guy.
Newgrounds, DBZ in a nutshell, and it was like #1 on the portal, I was like, that's awesome! Like, whoa, this guy made a thing, and so I messaged him on Newgrounds, and I was like, yo, I made that audio, and that's sauce. And immediately he was like, yo, I'm sorry, I'll take it down. It's no big deal, like whatever. And I was like, no, I'm happy. This is awesome. This is so cool.
It's lucky that you found someone that was like that and was happy to share that with other one and give you credit, because back then when something like that would happen, they'd be like, fuck you, like
I think that would happen now too.
yeah, to an
Maybe.
extent, but then the internet comes in. But back then it was really hard to get credit for stuff and kind of find a source for where the material actually came
well,
from.
it was also so fringe too. It felt like, why would anybody lie about something like that? 'Cause
Right.
It's such a small.
Yeah, that's a point in time that's hard to even imagine now, because like at that point,
I'm gonna lie about this thing 10,000
sure, but it's
people
like
have seen.
this is exactly. This is all shit that you're coming into see. It's like the club is so small, and now there's like the bigger it gets, there's more things that make sense for people to lie about certain things.
Max is so physically
Yeah.
So
attractive.
that guy, Channel Cat, is it?
Yeah, I just saw him like a couple days
Really?
ago.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Really?
Yeah, still like a lovely
Awesome.
dude. He's awesome. He lives in LA.
It's
Yeah.
so great that you've maintained those relationships with people from the very start. I
Really
think
good dude.
with early internet, and there was always a joke from my parents, like, go out and meet someone, but with the internet you got to choose your friends, and the people that you chose
Go
so
out
early on
and
in such
meet
a
someone.
new space, the internet.
Oh,
are, like
yeah.
your friends for life, because like if you didn't like them, you could just fucking not talk to them.
To some degree. I mean, there were some early friends where I remember the first person I ever met from the internet. We went to. I was very young.
Oh
and,
no. How young?
I don't know. I was like
Just like teenager.
15 or something.
Yeah. Okay.
But we went and saw Mystery Men together. He's the first person from the internet I've ever met. So I was like, I gotta look cool. So I remember I was like at the movie theater, and I had like sunglasses on, and I was like leaning against the wall, like, I hope he sees me and thinks I'm so fucking cool. And then he like comes up, he's like, hey, and he just looks like a nerd, and I'm like, oh hey, what's up? And then we saw Mystery
just
Men and
like-
just
were you-
like didn't talk.
Did you drop your like facade at that point? You're like,
Well, I mean, I was like so nervous the whole time, and then like I went home and like we chatted on AIM, and I was like, that was cool anyway.
You
And
didn't
I don't
say
think I
anything
ever
to
talked
each
to him
other.
ever again.
You didn't say anything to each other personally. Like, man, that movie was so sick.
Well, I had no idea like how to
Yeah.
fucking socialize back then, you know. I was
I
like,
do remember talking like that on like MSN and shit, where then at school or something, or like to a girl, and then the next day it's like unable to speak like,
Yeah, yeah.
properly.
MSN
Or it's like, yeah.
was like my high school. You go home, your girlfriend, you wouldn't do anything, maybe hold a hand at school, and then home you get home, you'd be like,
Sorry, it spilled.
yeah, it's just,
I don't mean to do
like,
this.
why didn't you? You know, it's
Yes,
like,
next time.
I really want to meet heaps of people I met online, but I know I live so rural in a place where like nobody was.
Oh, you're telling me you grew up on a farm?
Yeah, and like lots of animals, cattle farms and stuff like that. Shit internet. That like I grew up on such bad internet. My introduction to everything online was Newgrounds. Like I remember one of the first videos I saw was from Ed Gould, Ed's World.
Yeah,
Rest
yeah.
in peace. He was like the first animator I saw. And
Well, so that's the reason why Flash was so prolific back then, was because those videos are vector based, which is so much easier to. It's not rasterized. It's not like pixel. It's like little points on a grid.
Faster
so
to
those
render.
Flash files are
Also.
super low quality. You can
Yeah.
download them in like a second. That's why it was so prolific. So like you could have dial up and still like watch Newgrounds videos like
yeah,
it was
or
nothing.
play Flash games
Yeah.
as well.
Do you think that attributed to the success
100%.
of it at the time?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's so strange to me. It blows my mind every time when I see how long Newgrounds was around before something like YouTube.
Mhm.
Like user-based submitted content
They were the first.
is like
portal.
insane at that time.
Yeah, they invented the idea of like submitting something to put on a website, and it
Right.
just goes up.
You used to get blam when
That's right.
what was it? If you got downvoted enough
Yeah.
on a submission, it would be terminated from the site
Yeah.
completely.
Blam,
Really? I didn't know
yes.
that
It was
I
like
remember
user
that.
control.
Yeah, it was like
with what
self-policing.
stayed
Ah.
up.
Did you make any games, or did you
The
just solely?
democracy.
I tried to. Yeah, I was working on a lot of different games, but none of them came out. Yeah, I have never actually published a game that I have like directed.
Well, we saw some at the show that we went to. You guys had games for your
Oh,
live
yeah.
show.
Yeah,
That's right.
Which is
was
pretty cool.
Was actually really cool. Actually, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I
When I-
guess
when-
those were designed by me,
And
but like
and
they're
you were
rip-offs of other games.
Right. I mean, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
but it's
Everything
still,
takes inspiration from something.
Yeah. Because the first thing we did for Game Grumps
What they're
Live
talking about.
was we were doing Mario Maker at the time, and that was a really popular. Ross
What game
had
did he
made
make, I
two
wonder?
unique Mario Maker stages for Game Grumps Live. So we did 2 shows at the Hollywood Improv,
Other
where
than that-
one of them was one level and the other one was another level, I think. And we just went up on stage and played Mario Maker, and we were like, let's just see how it goes. But the most fun part about it was, you know, it's a room with like 100 people. There were some people that like brought like weird things to like hold up and stuff, and so we just started like talking to people because they were just right up on the stage, right? And we like brought a couple people up, and we were just like, oh, why don't you fucking beat it, you know? And they'd come up and they'd try to play. And we were like, the most fun part of that show was talking to the audience, like bringing audience members up. So we need to do that if we're gonna like take it.
It was great. You divided up the teams. There was like a competitive thing about it. I had a really good time. When I think of YouTubers show, I'm like, I kind of go into them pretty negatively just because I'm kind of
it's kind of groaner, like, oh, I just do backflip.
Yeah, but I had a lot of fun. Like, I think, you know, Silas and Griff, either was sitting there going like, man, Chad, you were really getting into it. I was having a fucking great time. You know? I don't know. That was good fun. The energy was great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
also, we got this.
Oh yeah, someone
Oh,
came
yeah,
up.
somebody gave you a dirty
someone
Sonic.
gave us a Sonic. We said we'd put it on set, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Whoever's watching, here it is. I need a piss.
I need
That's
to
pretty
put it on.
funny.
Yeah, we need to
Piss,
piss,
yeah.
But I need to ask why all your audience is so horny for Sonic.
Okay, you guys we'll talk about that.
What a great question.
Before we did a piss break, we brought out the Sonic. There was one massive theme at your show. Why are all your fans so horny for Sonic? And why were you asking people up the top, which Sonic character would you fuck? And what's all the furry shit?
The Sonic stuff, I feel like
I know who I
if
would
Game Grumps
pick.
was this like fucking global thing that everybody knew, you could write a book
When's
on
the
the
echidna
Sonic
from the
situation with Game
comics?
Grumps because
The
I find it
robot
so
arm.
fascinating. I have a unique relationship with
Julia?
Sonic in that I
Yeah.
literally don't like a single Sonic game, and yet Sonic is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I think it's so much fun, and Sonic as a character is so much fun, and he's so iconic, and all the characters are great. I think every game is fucking terrible.
Man, you're gonna piss off a lot of people by saying that.
So-
So you said that before.
Here's my theory on that, is that I think a lot of people agree, but a lot of people grew up on Sonic, just like I grew up on Sonic, but I feel like I can look back and be like, you know what, I don't really think I was having a whole lot of fun with that. I just think I liked all the bright colors, and I think I liked the characters, and I think I liked the sounds, and like,
I like the voice acting of Sonic.
I mean, sure.
I played a bunch of the games and I didn't like them, but I liked the voice acting and the cutscenes.
They're fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like little fun elements about Sonic
But
throughout
I
his
love
entire career.
Sonic.
Right?
I
feel
think
like
he's
Sonic is
wrong,
at its
isn't it?
best is when it's kind of bad. When a game like just has a ton of glaring huge
I
issues,
don't
I feel
think
like
Sonic
that is when Sonic is the
Frontiers
most fun.
should have cost
When Sonic is
$60,
trying to be really good
but
is when it sucks the
I'm
most.
definitely getting that
You
new
tell people
Sonic
you hate
game
Sonic?
coming out.
Because you've done
Yeah, well, dude,
Game Grumps episodes.
yeah,
playing
yeah.
Sonic games.
Like I
don't
used
think I'm
to
getting that,
do
man. You
partnerships with
kidding
Sega
me?
all the time
Oh,
about
I'm
Sonic because
excited
like I was
for
constantly
that
doing Sonic
game.
content, and like I got like bullied out of working with Sega because so many people would like comment on like official Sega stuff that I was in. They would be like, "Why are you working with this asshole who hates Sonic?" I love Sonic. You don't understand.
I love
Which-
Sonic. I just think everything that he's been part of sucks and shouldn't sell.
He fucking rules. Like I have Sonic figures all over my fucking house and in office. Like
That will-
Sonic is amazing. I love Sonic
like about the fucking hedgehog?
because he's such a fun character.
So it's the character design. They go,
It's-
oh yeah, the character's like overwhelmingly cool, so
And,
I will
like,
play
it's-
every game.
It's kind of fun to like this thing where it's like it's so obviously bad. Like there's a reason Sonic's such a huge meme, you know? Like
I mean, yeah,
it's just so
sure.
endearing to like this thing that's so like they try so hard to make it cool and good, and it's not, and it never is.
Would you say that your relationship with it is not because you like playing the games, it's because I think this is something that you and John, how you guys met originally, was it was because you play games that you hate, but you have fun sitting there critiquing it.
Well, I mean, we started Game Grumps because we were playing Smash
Me
Brothers
too,
one night.
Mark,
Do you know that story?
Yeah, you had an argument over if
Wolf was a clone.
Fox.
Yeah.
clone. Yes.
You guys got in a heated argument about
Because
this.
yes, so that's
You guys
yeah.
are fucking
We were
nerds.
yelling at each other while everyone else was still like trying to play Smash.
So
we were
this-
like standing up, like pointing fingers, and was, no, because of this. That's how Game Grumps started.
Who decided that should be a thing?
It was literally in the middle of the argument. I was like, dude, we should do this. it's a show, and we should call it Game Grumps. Like that was literally the conversation in the middle of us yelling at each other about whether or not Wolf is a clone. That's how Game Grumps started.
Damn. And what year was this?
I mean, this
Roughly,
was
like,
it
what-
was either 2011 or 2012 when that conversation happened, because we started it shortly after.
You didn't start Game Grumps as a Let's Play channel. It was a podcast, right? Originally, or was that the original idea? And then
No.
later down the line, were you kind of like, well, we have these same conversations while we
think
playing
it was
games,
Let's
so
Play, no?
When we were
let's play it.
arguing, we said it should be a podcast.
Yeah.
But the first thing we ever made was the stuff that you can see right now,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
the Kirby episodes and like the Zelda episodes and stuff.
My,
So
my all-time favorite episode was Grant Kirkhope,
yeah,
Banjo-Kazooie, and I still tell people about all the shit that he said on that, like that how he made Banjo,
yeah.
like how he did the sound design for Banjo. I think I've told you some of the
Yeah,
stuff.
you have told me
And
this,
that
yeah.
all comes from that one Game Grumps episode.
Oh, dude, he's such a fucking swell dude. Well, also it put it into perspective for me a lot too when we did that episode, and then it was like hitting blogs and shit. Like people were like posting about like the secrets revealed and shit, like
Right.
stories that he told on Game Grumps, and I was like, whoa, it's like this is a pretty big deal that like he just like came out and started talking about all this stuff that people really love. So that was a really cool aspect of it. There's content like that or videos like that that I would love to like keep doing, because I know a lot of different devs and stuff. Like it would be so cool to do a show where I just like get a bunch of devs like that to come in and just talk about their process and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like I've been involved in the development of so many games now where like I understand that aspect, and also I do entertainment where I can frame it in a way where, you know, an audience can sort of like understand what's happening and stuff. Because when you talk like game design with other game designers, it's like so in the weeds.
Yeah.
But like if you're like an outside observer, you're like, oh, what the fuck are they talking about? You know, but
Right.
I feel like I'm in the unique position where I could sort of like frame it in a way where I could be like, this is what we're talking about.
Also, these people that are in those visions don't really have voices. No one
Yeah,
plays the
exactly.
games are like,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna find out who did this. Like they don't have it until someone gives it to them.
I want to make that. Okay. You guys have like
Write it down, you got time.
you lit a fire under my ass to make this show happen.
Oh, gaming. You guys want to play Fortnite after
I
this?
love
or-
gaming.
You ever played WoW?
I don't like WoW.
Is that another piss break? I think a good one to cover is your voice acting work and how you got into that
Okay.
from where you started. You've done television, you've done gaming. When did you consider yourself like, oh, I'm a voice actor as well as like everything else?
Always. That was always up top.
But
That was
when-
number one for me.
What's your first role then?
The decline of video gaming by the Super Flash Brothers on Newgrounds.com.
Super Flash Brothers.
Yes. They made a whole cartoon about how like video gaming is becoming so crazy.
Oh, okay.
And so I did I was like the narrator on the first one.
What year? Or what
I don't
age?
fucking remember. I'm so
Roughly.
bad with that shit.
When is this like
Newgrounds.
Yeah,
ballpoint?
Newgrounds. This is like a 3-year period.
I don't know, it was like 17 or
when
something.
did you start Newgrounds thing? Like 2001?
When
like,
did Newgrounds start? I don't even remember.
2006 it was around. 2005.
What? No, what? Dude, it was like 1999 at
No, but-
least.
That-
or
I'm
2000.
just saying the years I
Newgrounds?
found it.
Okay, I
Assassin was
might be wrong,
first.
but I know that it was obviously pre-YouTube, which was 2006.
Yes, Assassin happened first, which was a website that only Tom and his friends were uploading to, where it was like Flash movies where you could like fight Jason Federline or whatever. And then he released the Portal, the Newgrounds Portal, which is a completely different website. So I was 13 when the Newgrounds Portal came out. So that's when I started voice acting, was around there.
I thought you started voice acting when you did your voice animation.
Okay, technically yes,
claymation.
but
I would
think I
love
can
to see that.
catch
Do you still have
them
that
because they
claymation
have the-
somewhere, anywhere, at your mum's house, your
I
dad's
bet
house?
my mom has it somewhere.
I would
listen-
pay good money for it. I'm just saying.
I actually I used to make animations on like really long time
Pivot.
ago. No, before Pivot.
What is Pivot?
Pivot was like
Really?
Pivot was a stick animation thing. So the oldest video on my MaxMofo channel that's still up, I deleted a lot of old ones, was a Pivot video. It's very crude, like shit, but it was definitely inspired by a lot of stuff that you did and Newgrounds stuff. So I used to love a lot of stick animation stuff, like fucking, I don't know how to pronounce it, as Yao Xiao or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That
Oh,
those
there's so
stick
many of
animations.
those.
Is that with Pivot?
No, I don't
The
think
first
so.
one
but
was like hand drawn.
possibly.
Is that also the same guy that did the Desktop Wars thing? Where
Oh, you're thinking of I think maybe animated versus animation.
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Talked about these with Corridor. I was just on their show recently about we were watching old Newgrounds cartoons. We were talking about Zhao Zhao and talking about anime versus animation.
Yeah.
It's really cool to revisit that and like watch it. So many of those dudes back then were just like figuring it out in the moment, you know? And it's so easy to see that in hindsight now and to look at that and see like all the, but back then it was like, these guys are fucking geniuses. They've got it all figured out, you know?
That shit still holds up really well. Those stick animations are like, to me, that sort of stuff is like, you look back at 3D Nintendo 64 games, and you're like, it doesn't hold up, like in terms of 3D animation.
Yeah, but then you hear the stories about them
but-
developing it.
No. But you look at 2D games, side scrollers, do hold up. People still play Mario like side scroll. It holds up in a way that's different to 3D and how 3D had
But you can only
advanced.
take 2D so far until it's peaked, and then when you watch something that's 2D, you're like,
Yeah, but
that's
right,
perfect.
but so
Yeah,
I
that's why they moved on.
think those hold up in a way that's different to how like animations are done now, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Like stick fights, stuff like that. I think that stuff still looks like incredible.
yes.
Okay, you think it sucks.
Well, no. I think
That guy still does shit,
well,
right?
it made me think of something different because you were saying like 2D holds up versus 3D, and it's like,
Right.
yeah, because 2D had like years and years and years to. You look at that early 2D shit, you look at like Atari shit and like NES shit. A lot of that is really
Okay,
terrible.
but let's talk about like the last shit that was made then before everyone was like, we're not making 2D shit anymore. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, but
that's what I was just trying to say,
Like
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, maybe that's
Everybody
why.
knew how
sure.
to do it.
Sure, but until we can see in fucking
Yeah.
5 dimensions,
How is that fair?
3D has a long way to go.
3D is tough by the very nature of that we're viewing it on a 2D screen.
Sure. Okay, that's like a
2D,
limitation.
2D graphics on a 2D screen
I'm gonna
is
die
so
again
much easier to do
immediately.
Yeah, but
than
let's-
3D graphics on a 2D screen.
Man, games are lit.
Yeah, boy.
Whoa. These guys need to calm down and have some gamer stuff. Go to gamersubs.gg and use code COLDONES for 10% off. I'm gay. Code COLDONES.
All right, what do you want to know? You want to ask me questions?
Oh, I'm gonna the Game Grumps controversies are coming up after this show. All right, listen here. So there's a Game Grumps.
Can you put these neatly
Chad,
somewhere
get
in
the
a
fucking
box?
cards out of the shot, cunt. Aaron!
What do you want?
Put this on.
Oh, is this the watch your mouth?
You've done a fucking power hour where you've had that on.
Yeah.
We've done a cold ones where we've had a similar fucking thing on.
Oh, really?
I think now we need to do a fucking shot where we all have them on.
We call it a cold grump shot. Do you like cold one,
grumps.
cold grumps, or game ones? That sounds gay.
I don't care.
Alright, so this device is seen on your shirt and our shirt. We did it in a drinking game, and you guys did it in a
Yeah.
So I'm gonna shot one of these you're doing earlier.
No.
And I'm gonna call it gay on.
Oh, I don't do shots.
Shut the yeah, now you do.
Okay.
You do, right?
Oh,
Am I gonna die?
I think I'm
Am I
gonna get
dead?
fucked up more than I've
Okay.
ever done.
Alright.
I got
to
lucky,
gang
wow.
gunks. To gang on.
yeah,
To gang gunks. To gang gunks. Don't choke, Aaron.
That's too much alcohol. There's too much.
Oh my god. Was that funny? That was a good
That's
combination.
too much alcohol.
That was a good
Don't worry.
You have the advantage of putting me in a vulnerable situation where you get asked so many questions.
You were saying earlier that you like cheese.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Is that
please,
the
can we get that?
controversial question you want to ask as I'm just taking a shot of Grey Goose?
I'm kind of upset that you're only here for a few days at a time and you were on tour.
GameRumps.com/live.
During that show, you said you loved cheese, and then after that show, you were literally eating cheese in the green room.
Yes.
I'm a big foodie, as you can tell. And I know a guy in Melbourne who
What's happening?
manages the most pristine restaurants called Voudemont. So I went down to Voudemont and my boy Raj hooked us up with a cheese board from a hand-carved cheese board.
Holy shit.
Of a bit of everything. Now, there's also...
You made me take a fucking shot of shitty Grey Goose.
But we're about to wash it
and
down
then
with some
feed me
oil.
this delicious cheese.
so
Oh my god. This is awesome.
Where's the fucking crackers? It's coming, it's coming.
Please! Ah! You've contaminated the whatever that is. You just got me like the perfect drunk where I'm like happy and good. So
Well, this is gonna make you really happy.
This is your favorite cheese, by the way.
Probably gonna
You
go
got
to
your whole
heaven
block.
if
Yo,
this episode
Sorry,
is
what is it?
successful.
Don't eat it like
Let
a
me
rat.
see.
I'm here with some olives from the market. I'm gonna open up and put on
Oh,
the
that's
table.
really good.
I love olive.
Oh, this one's really good.
Yeah.
Is this entertaining to anybody?
No, it's not.
Aside from me?
Vegetarian
All right, dude, you gotta. If you're talking controversial fucking questions, you better get them out right now.
I need us to put you in a good mood.
I'm in like the tip-top shape right now.
What Sonic character? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's a good question. Which Sonic character would you fuck? You asked everyone else.
Yeah, you never answered.
What Sonic character would I fuck?
Yeah.
Knuckles.
Why?
Oh, you said that was the most common answer.
Nice.
It's the best answer.
Why? Because
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 he's
he's,
Julia,
he
he'd
just,
fuck Knuckles.
he's complicated, all right? And he's a
He's
soft guy on the inside. He really wants to help you and support you on the inside. But on the outside, he's a rough and gruff dude. So when you get on the inside and you get on his good side, it's the most rewarding thing that you've ever experienced.
okay.
Hey, cheers to that. To the
Man,
Penfolds
you
Max's
sound like
wine.
you're
Grab your wine and
struggling
cheers.
saying
To
that.
the, is this a sponsor?
No, Penfolds is just a really famous Australian brand. Cheers. Cheers, Max.
I love Penfolds.
So what I wanted to ask you, Aaron,
Mm-hmm.
as someone that grew up doing animation and loves it, I know you're not going to do it that much
This is
anymore.
not controversial at all.
Max, this is your job. You did the research. Ask him a
You want me to go
question.
controversial? I think you've got the one of the most controversial anti-fandoms that exists
What's that?
online.
Uh-huh. What do you mean by that?
I just think you have a fan base of anti-fans that's dedicated to hating you.
That is so true.
That is more prominent than any other person online that I've seen.
I don't know
of
if
your
that's
size.
more prominent than any person involved, but I have a
For
very
your size, I think
a very
comparatively,
sizable
yes.
anti-fan.
that
yeah.
is like, yeah, pretty fucked up.
Why?
Because I did fucking comedy on YouTube that was edgy, or on Newgrounds that was
Okay.
edgy, and now I don't.
Okay,
That's why.
Yes, can I do think that needs exploring more. Right now, I think we're all pretty drunk, like too drunk to make that like a nuanced perspective that anyone's gonna say that makes any sense. But when you have an online presence as long as you've had, the documentation is
99, everybody. I'm fucking done.